You're listening to the voice of IWA FLip here on Interfed Radio. With me today in studios. Oh man, this guy's ears must be burning because we've mentioned him on here a couple times already. Commissioner of the WWL, the game changer, Melvin Mayhem. Melvin, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Thanks for that great intro.
Oh man, you know what, man? And as soon as I saw that first one come out, I started talking to just about, I mean, or everybody that I started bringing on. I was like, dude, hit the stop button, go check out this, and yeah, this is gonna change it up, man. Dude, man. Yeah, let's. I don't even know where to start, man. I mean, let's. Do you mind starting with a little history? I mean, you've been in the IWA a few
I've been
years,
around.
few years
Yeah, I've
back.
been around. I've been around for a long time. Like we touched on earlier before the show started. I've been around since around 93, 94. And one of my best friends at the time, he was the one that kind of put me onto it. He was part of the SCL at the time, and he ran a stable called Spanish Cartel. And he introduced me to the game. I was young. I didn't really know what it was about. I didn't know what the whole hoopla was about. He used to come over to my house all hyped up, saying that his guy won titles and all this shit. I'm like, dude, it's like it's fake wrestling. What's wrong with you? But then, over time, he would show me more and more bulletins. And I think the trash talk aspect of it got me. That's what kind of hooked me. I was like, oh, these people, they don't even know each other and they're just going at it and starting feuds. I was like, this is fucking cool. So over time, I just got hooked, and I was in it for a few years after that. Took a sabbatical, came back, and eventually took over the NBL prior to doing the WWL. So I have a lot of history with the league.
Now, you said you took over the NBL back in 2013, 2014?
Yeah, I think it was around 2013, 2014. I was on a sabbatical from the IWA. I wasn't in for a long time. But I just out of chance, I came, I was like, let me see if the game is still around. I made some contacts, and sure, lo and behold, it was still there. So I said, oh, you know what? Let me just try to, catch lightning in a bottle and see if it's still as fun as it was when I was a kid. But I do remember coming back. I signed on. I joined the KKL, which Frank Belcher, I believe he's still the commissioner there. And I was in his league. I had some success with my guys. At the time, I was running the ISO characters. My main guy in Passive Name, who's still in the league in WWL now. But I had some success. He ran some angles. I won a championship there. I forgot what commissioner title it was. I actually ended up leaving to take over the NBL eventually, and I pretty much started a trend when I took over that league because Kim gave me the green light. I took a dead end league that was pretty much on its way out at the time, and I resuscitated it, and I ended up on an almost 3 year run where the NBL was in the top five, averaging over 600 matches a cycle and over 56 cards. I think it was a 58 average every cycle for 3 years. So I had some success there before taking over and starting the WWL.
Nice, really, really nice. Now, the NBL still running under your commission?
Yeah. No, no, it's not. It's already. To be honest, I don't even know what's going on with it anymore. It's like a bastard stepchild. But don't get me wrong. I love the league. I love the history we had. But now it's a new time, new era, and it's all about the WWO. I can't. My 100% focus is on what I'm doing right now, and that's everything Wicked. Nothing to do with the new blood.
Nice. Now you did mention, and you're not the only one, but you're also a one manager, one league type of guy.
Yeah, currently I am. Before I wasn't. A few years back, around the time I was doing the commissioner, I was actually running a pretty big roster. I think I got as high as 120, and I was in about four or five different feds. And at that time, I was running with actually LPPF Legends, and from there, I kind of like slashed my own stable at the time as well. And I was, at that time I was a report hitter. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to hit the report and see how good I can actually be if I actually, took the time to study the holds and rack my brain over picking drops and, trying to nail these holds. And I did pretty good. I finished 23rd overall, and I kind of shocked myself. But after that, I was like, it was the money investment was too much. The time it took to strategize that many wrestlers was too much. And I said, you know what, let me just scale it down and just go small and focus more on my commissioning, because I was kind of slipping on that aspect of the game. So on my return, which is now obviously under the WWL, I made sure to just focus strictly on being the best commissioner possible. So
Oh yeah, no, I mean I've gone on air here saying it before. I mean the report that that you produce, it's a thing of beauty, man. I mean,
Thank you.
I won't release or unveil any of the secrets as to how the report gets put together because I think that's commissioner talk that we do off air. But I
Yeah,
mean the hours and the hours that go into the report is just it's beautiful, man. I mean,
thank you,
I
thank
just
you.
I've just I was at work last night and just waiting for the diamond and next thing you know, Diamond goes and takes forever to post, man. But
Yeah,
once I finally got a chance to to see the report again, I mean another great report there, another great cover. So you know,
thank you. I'm definitely
man,
humbled to say the least. And just real quick, I just wanted to mention those. I think it was four managers that I got to hear in interviews. Rick Angel, Derek, guys are part of my writer stable. I believe Mr. James and Bug, to all four of you guys that mentioned my report, had those kind words. I'm truly humbled. I just want to thank you guys. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
oh yeah, no, I mean this whole IWA, like you said, it is moving in a new direction. Like I said, I'm definitely enjoying bringing managers and commissioners that are at the forefront of this change. I mean, even though I have mentioned the transition to elite leagues, I hate to. I mean, we talked shortly about this. I mean, I definitely put the WWL as one of the top leagues, but you said you had your own reservations about moving the league into the elite category because you wanted it to have its own, its own themes, its own revolution, and its own, just its own attention away from the elite.
Yeah, it's WWL where I'm trying to have it cut from a different cloth. I mean, Kim did present the whole idea of running the six man limit to go for that title, but I reminded her that it's not about the report anymore. It's not about hitting the report or going for any of those specialty titles. This is about in league. I just wanted to be the focus completely on the league, completely on the wrestlers. That's another reason why I don't allow the stable initials. I just want the focus on the title pages to be about who the wrestler is and not what stable they're representing. So, and she also told me if it doesn't go in the, she was like, if it doesn't go into the elite leagues, it's going to be in the other category. I was like, perfect. Put me in the other category because that's exactly what WWE was, something other than what everybody else is doing. So that fits right,
Nice.
right where I wanted to be.
Now to get on back on that point in terms of those managers that are looking to hit the report,
Yeah.
just not to discourage you from coming to the WWL because if you do manage to get a report hit, the IWA will add your initials, to your fighter, so
From
like
my
that
understanding,
you can get credit for report hits if if that's what you're hoping
yeah,
for.
yeah. From my understanding, I had this conversation with Kim a while ago. I forgot what brought it about, but she did mention that even if you don't have stable initial, I mean, if you're part of a stable initial, but you're in a league that doesn't allow it, if you hit the report, you can choose to have your stable initials put just for the report hit, so that they can know which stable you represent. I don't know if they've changed that or what, but I do remember that being mentioned to me. So, if that is the case, then anybody can come in. It's just a matter of are you willing to run the smaller roster as opposed to maybe the 15, 20. Some people run even more than that in certain leagues that are unlimited. But again, if you're in it more for the in league fun and you can hang with a smaller roster and give some of these I guess other managers a chance, especially in my league where we have newer managers. I have to be honest about half the roster right now are new. I recruited a bunch of new people that never played the game before, and they're like psyched right now. But that's the whole point of this renaissance is to bring in new people. And I mean, we're not the old guard isn't going to be here forever, and if we're going to progress the game, we need to get these newer people in here to carry the torch for us. So that's my goal right now, man.
Oh, nice. Now speaking of some of these uh, uh, new people here, I mean, I'm looking at the report. I mean, I'm still just glancing over it.
Yeah.
Did you want to start by going over the champions there, Melvin, or?
Yeah, we can go over the current champions real quickly. You do see I do have the customized name titles. I was so sick of the whole league TV. I even did this with New Blood. I have my own, and there's other. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of other leagues out there that do this as well. It kind of adds personality to the league, in my opinion. But so I guess start from the top to the bottom. I'll start. This is WWL cycle number two. Debut cycle was last cycle, so this is the second issue. Right now, we actually have the Crest of Chaos champion, Dentist Dinko Larva. He actually retained. So right out the gate, this guy already beat the
Nice.
back. That's pretty impressive. He got himself part of the one of the perks we have is that if you have league and we hit 50 cards or more, you get 15 free matches and 50,000. So he just got that today. So not bad for the first two cycles, I gotta say. After that, I see Twisted Carnage. We have Batman. Smoldering Sorrow champion is Donnie the Blazing Flamingo. Court of Torment champion is Elik. Belt of Subtlety is WWO Masked Icon number 6. I'll touch on the whole Masked Icon stuff later on. But Ending Misery champion is Miss Eva Danger. She is a force, I tell you that. Girdle of the Berserk, we have WWO Masked Icon number 8. Infernal Vengeance, we have Robin. Gun Belt of Hell champion, we have Daddy's Girl number 2. Chain of Echoes champion, WWO Masked Icon number 1. Shattered Bloodlust champion is Daddy's Girl number 3. Whispered Agony champion is Skyblade Tiger King, one of my nemesises. I'll touch on that also. That's one of the big rivalries going on, him and one of my guys. But Band of Distant Wars, we have the tag team Daddy's Girls 2 and number 3. Then the TV tag team, we have Brittany and Chastity, another great women's combo there. Circle of Sanity, we have the Flamingo brothers. That's Johnny the Jet Flamingo, Donnie the Blazing Flamingo, and Juan One Flamingo. And then following that up and rounding out the entire list, we have Batman, Batgirl, and Robin. The trio is together, and they do have the gold.
Now, Melvin, as you're reading those
Yeah.
names, I'm noticing something. I mean, you allowed transfers from the launch.
Oh yeah, for the first two
Nice.
seconds, allowed it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, why not? I knew that there were people that were going to be interested in transferring in, and my whole thing was like, let me get them in now because I was so confident in what I was about to bring to the table that I knew if they got in, they wouldn't want to get out. So I did allow it for the first two cycles. Right now, the league is closed. It's invite only. So if you want to get into the WWO, you have to contact me directly. Kim and myself have to give you the approval, and once you do, you can sign on to the War Room, and you'll be a part of the WWO.
Now you said you were going to touch on the masked icons because I'm looking at the top 5
Yeah.
and whoa.
See, this is something that I saw this happening because we're currently under invasion by the masked icons, and they're coming over from another league, another prestigious league actually, and it's run by one of the I guess he's like a legend in that league. I did drop some hints on what league it is and who it is. For anybody that's looking through the report, you could figure it out, maybe, maybe not. But this group of individuals, they're legendary. They have some really, a lot of accolades between them. And I knew once they got into the league that they were going to make an immediate impact. And sure enough, here they are. And I actually interviewed. It was a shock interview. It was actually a last minute thing. I had to scramble to see who could I interview. And I got somebody, happened to be the person heading up this mass icon stable, and the interview's there for everybody who wants to see it. So I'm pretty stoked about that one.
Nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll tell you like this, Melvin. I mean, I know it's a young league, and I know, I know different angles are going to develop
Oh
and
yeah.
come in and come in and out of there. In terms of him, I don't want to say hoarding or just. I mean, is it something like where he's just going to run that angle and then head out and open those
Oh
spots
no,
up?
no, he's in it for the long haul. This is something. This is a put it the manager that's I'm not gonna say who it is, but him and I have history together, and we
Oh,
spoke
gotcha.
about yeah, we spoke about this well before, so we kind of planned the whole thing. Is actually playing out a lot better than we expected. But it's gonna be a lot of fun with this cat. Once they're revealed and we really get into it, it's gonna be tons of fun writing angles and feuds and because I know what to expect from him. He knows what to expect of me, and we gel. We have a great chemistry when it comes to running angles. So
Nice. Now, I mean, as I scan through the report, I see you got. I mean, you're tracking stats of.
oh
It
yeah,
almost seems of how many tears drop.
yep.
I mean, it's into. I mean, it's into it. I mean, do you want to go over some of it just to give managers a little bit of a perspective? I mean, obviously we don't got to get into details. I mean, it's all there, but we can definitely
Yeah,
scratch the surface on some of this stuff.
yeah. The main one of the main things I wanted to do with you see, I did introduce something this cycle. It's the performance track extreme, and It's basically my play on every commissioner has this where they have their prizes and what you win and points that they assign. And but sometimes I feel like they forget there's other aspects also where maybe like managers that don't necessarily hit the title page, you kind of give them a shot to like climb up the ranks. And if you notice, I included points for average win totals, for total wins, for fastest win, for battle royal toss outs,
Oh yeah,
dark,
I even saw some trash talk rewards there.
yeah, trash talk, for best trash talk, for regular trash talk, for war room trash talk. I give the reason I did this is because I wanted to give managers, especially the newer ones that don't really know how to play yet, a chance to be, a force. I want them to have a chance at a commissioner title or to have the spotlight here and there. I'm not going to neglect anyone in this league. So even if you're one of the best or you're at the bottom trying to scratch the surface and get noticed, you're going to have your spotlight. You're going to have your day in my report one way or the other.
Nice. Now, in terms of in terms of pace, Melvin, in terms of the pace that you guys run right there in the WWL, because
Mhm.
I mean, we've highlighted different leagues. We've highlighted. I mean, I went back and highlighted the MML when I ran the MML, and I mean, I ran a very fast pace there in the MML. I mean, it was titles were moving around, cycle in, cycle out. Very similar to the way the AWL and the CWL run it. It's a very fast pace. Would you consider the WWL fast pace or?
Absolutely not. The reason is because I'm more of a slow burn, kind of feel. I like angles to play out. I like the trash talk to kind of simmer and really get its grounding and to progress storylines, progress the feuds, make them more substantial. I don't want it to just be a one and done feud and then that's it. They part ways. But right now, if you notice, I do actually in my pay-per-view calendar, I actually have a structure where I have 4 cycles in between every pay-per-view. So that gives plenty of time for, the cycle after for a recap to start some new stuff, and then 3 after that to really like, build off of whatever's happening in those in between cycles. And then they lead up to that fifth, the fifth cycle where we actually have the pay-per-view. And I like that pace myself. And but even though, regardless, obviously every pay-per-view the titles are going to be up for grabs or the commissioner titles. But I do have like the main events that I have. I do have dark matches. So there are stuff in between where some of the titles are going to be up for grabs. It's not just going to be in a pay-per-view. So, if you're in the league and something happens or you're on a one of the Turnbuckle Thursday main events and I just happen to say, you know what, I'm going to make it for the title. I can do that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Or
Oh
if the
yeah, yeah,
rest,
yeah.
if a champion decides he wants to, give somebody else a chance, then, we'll do it. And
Oh
one of
yeah.
the
Like
main
what do they call it? Add some fuel to a to a feud or something. Because again, that's the power and that's kind of the fun part about being a commissioner in terms of
Yes.
moving angles. I've given Wes and James over in the GNL a lot of that credit because they do a great job there in the GNL of moving angles into the pay-per-view. And like I said, I'm looking forward to following your pace there in the WL in the
Mhm.
WWL and seeing how how you progress towards what is it Wicked
Oh, the next one is Wicked City Chaos. That's the
Wicked
first
City
pay-per-view.
Chaos.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's gonna be a big one right there. And you'll notice too, like each of the pay-per-views have like kind of like their own stipulations. I want to say like their own kind of themes. So definitely want to play around with that as well, just to keep things fresh. But yeah, I'm
Now
definitely gonna.
before
Yeah.
before we move any further, Melvin, I do want to touch on that because again, we have mentioned certain leagues have certain themes that revolve around them,
Yes.
and the Wicked Wars League in itself is its own universe, and that's what you guys got to understand is that
Yes.
it allows for everything. You were talking about leagues that allow for things that are out of the norm, things that just allow you to get out there. The Wicked Wars League in the Diamond Federation is another one of those leagues that
Right.
the commissioner there, you'll hear it from him. He allows it. So, if you want to go and get nasty, of course you got to add a little asterisk here and there, but hell, go get it.
It's
It's allowed.
it's like one of a good analogy I could put on that is I don't know if you ever seen the movie I think it was called The Craft. It was called the Three Witches.
Okay.
It's an old
Yeah.
movie, but yeah, there's a phrase that one of the witches say, and she was describing who their god is. I forget like the god of Wicca, the god of witches, or whatever it is. But and she was explaining to somebody else, and the best way she could describe it, she said something along the lines of, she was like, imagine if if God and the devil were fighting, or no, if the God and the devil were playing a sport. well, their god Menor will be the stadium that they play in. And that alone, I was like, I love that, because that's what Wicked, that's what Wicked Wars is. We're the platform for anything. So when you have good and evil, it could be any character, it could be whatever it is you think of. It doesn't matter, because my league is where the friction is gonna take place, where the stories are gonna come to life. So I don't have a restriction on what you want to do. You see, we have Batman and Robin, we have zombies, we have it all, but just
Nice.
know that anything can happen in my league at any given time. That's what's fun about it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and that's the one thing in having these shows, Melvin. I mean, highlighting aspects like that are going to allow managers that play that style, to
Yeah.
not navigate themselves there. And again, if you are, if this is something that does attract your attention, reach out to Commissioner Mayhem and just get yourself to the WWL. I
And
mean, I'm looking at all these pay-per-views that you got coming up. Like I said, everything is structured, so there's no surprises in terms of what's coming. I mean, you can definitely set your
I'm set through cycle 25, man. So let's do
Oh
this.
yeah, no, and Melvin, I'll tell you like this. There's certain managers like myself that navigate. My current state is to navigate through different leagues. So I'm making cameos in certain leagues, and of course, I've already made it known to everyone that I am navigating through the elite leagues. But believe me, I'm like I said, I won't shy away from the WWL. So you'll definitely see a cameo for me definitely there in the near future.
Oh, nice. I welcome it.
Now, I mean, I'm scrolling down here. Like I said, I definitely see we got pay-per-views all the way up into cycle 25. But and then the next thing that caught my attention is the titles. I mean, you got a lot of are these all sanctioned commissioner titles here?
These are the top titles. So if you have these, again, like I wrote there, you want my respect, claim your title. It's that straightforward. These are the go-getters. So if you have these, then you run the yard, basically.
Nice, nice. Oh yeah, now and I don't think we mentioned it, but the Wicked Wars leagues does allow. I mean, I know when we were reading the champions, we did read a couple of females, so it does allow women fighters.
Oh, my right, to be honest, that's one of that's another rule of my league, is if you coming in, because obviously the game is male predominant. I mean, there's so many guys, the guys outnumber the girls. But in my league, it's actually the opposite. It's half and half. Half the managers now, which I think is, we're at 26, I think right now. Half of them are female, and they have some incredible talent, incredible ideas, incredible wrestlers. And right now, to be honest, I can go out there and say that my women's division is probably as stacked as any other just female league in the IWA.
Nice. Yeah, no, we definitely got a lot of push for women's. I mean, obviously, if you look around the entire IWA, we now have a women's division, a women's league in every federation. So I mean,
That's right.
the interest for it is grown. It definitely. We did highlight the RWL, which is the women's league in the bronze. Commissioner Sean is doing a fantastic job there. Getting movement going there. But again, to have leagues that are co-ed, like the WWL, like the AWO and the Steel, it's a beautiful thing. That just have managers with an open mindset. To allow something like that.
Yeah, it progresses the league, man. It gives you more angles to work with, more ideas, more possibilities. Why not do it?
Definitely. Now, I see. I mean, you got it. You got the news. You got the breakdown. I mean, if you're again, if you haven't peeked, go take a look at the new report. Now, before we go too much into the report, Melvin, we
Sure.
did want to talk about um, the social media aspect of the WWL. We had mentioned on here before how there are a lot of leagues in the IWA that have ventured off into the Facebook groups and
Yeah.
have groups for their either for their stable or for their league.
Yes.
Uh, Now, Wicked Wars, you've decided, and I did mention this on here before. You've actually decided to go to a board. Is that correct?
That's correct. The Wicked Wars does have a dedicated pro board. It's called the War Room, and it's an extension of the league, obviously. And I put some exclusive content on there, and I basically put a lot of other stuff you're not gonna find in the report. But it also has all the stuff that is in the report, just laid out in a way that makes it super easy to navigate, to find. I do have sections. You and I were touching on this earlier, on the whole. I forgot who it was. You could refresh my memory which manager was talking about, that Facebook is the way to go, and which is fine, to each his own. Everybody has their opinion on stuff, but to me, I actually prefer the Pro Board. There's only really been two, I think maybe three. I think the what other league? XPL. I think Venom Scott has a Pro Board as well, if I'm not mistaken. But between them, IWAR, and the Dungeon, which is like dead now, those are the only three that I can think of where people actually made an attempt to run a Pro Board. But my thing is that the Pro Board itself, if you know how to use the bells and whistles that it has, because it does have a lot as far as the layout, structuring, the calendar feature to give managers a heads up of what's coming down the pipeline, the threads, the way you lay it out. It's just as effective, if not more, than Facebook or any of those outlets that some managers tend to gravitate towards. But it's if you ever do get a chance to go to the war room, and I did give you the invitation, you'll see what I mean. The way I have it laid out, it's super easy, super user friendly. So I choose a pro. Plus, it adds that nostalgia feeling because the dungeon did come first.
Right.
So I want to keep the whole pro boards aspect and keep some part of the old days intact.
Yeah, no, I think when we were talking right before we went on, yeah, no, in terms of what manager was talking about it, I think it was actually just myself, Melvin, that mentioned the whole transition into the Facebook. But in terms of what I had mentioned to you before we got on, and you, I mean, you also said, it all depends on the structure, and that's I agree with you 1,000%. I think the dungeon got too, I guess, too big for its own good. So
Yeah,
it
oh
just
that yeah, that I remember. Yeah, it was the whole idea of the stopping the trolling and the whole letting it get out of hand aspect. That's another thing. I know you can do it on Facebook as well, if I'm not mistaken. But that's another thing I like about the Pro Boards is that I can, it's an exclusive league Pro Board. It's not for anybody to just come in. You have to be a member of the league in order to have access to it. If you're not a manager in the WWL, you will not have access to the War Room at all. So anybody that's in my Pro Board, I already know who they are, so I know what to expect. I know what's
yeah.
coming. So it's a totally different ball game than what Dungeon is. So
Oh yeah, no, and it definitely, like you said, it definitely takes it back to, like you said, the structure of the pro board. I mean, because I do know Kyle Queen was running one.
yes.
Like I said, I know, but I don't think it's up anymore from my understanding, unless he brought it back up. And of course, I remember the dungeon one. I remember being on that one for a short bit, but it never really developed into some. I mean, because I kid you not, Melvin, I went on there and I took to it. I mean, I remember making threads for my leagues. I remember when I was doing my lucha leagues in the gold. I remember posting up stuff,
Mhm.
and it just ended up becoming. I mean, and this is just me for myself, Melvin. I mean, I'm not mocking or knocking the pro boards, but for
Okay.
me, it just ended up becoming like an album of my graphics. So I was just kind of like, okay, you know what? It got very little attention. I mean, maybe it was just my stuff. I'll be honest with you. Hey, you know what? Maybe my stuff just wasn't that interesting. Maybe I was just, I'm like, hey, you know what? I thought my stuff was that good, and I thought I was gonna get more reaction from it, but it never really got the attention on the pro boards that I wanted to get from it. So I was just
Mhm.
kind of like, oh well, you know what? I'm out.
I think, in my
So
opinion, a Pro Board was it's more of an avenue for the managers to not bash each other, but just to it's the communication aspect of it. It's not, you don't really there are some sub boards for league, specific, activity, but even those no one really goes to. And again, like right now, the dungeon is pretty much dead. It's not. I logged in there a few days ago and I was like, holy shit, where is everybody? Like, what happened to that? I knew it was kind of it was expected. You know what I mean? It's been around for so long, and people were losing interest in it. And
yeah, I
again,
mean, I
people are
mean,
gravitating to Facebook and stuff like that.
I
So
mean, I remember navigating to it to get like to see the charts. I mean that was the whole deal behind the dungeon is, or even the one that Kyle Queen ran is I would go there to see the charts, because I was like I was an idiot. I wasn't tracking, and then next thing you know, I found a place that had charts. So I was like, yes, this is cool. This could
definitely,
definitely.
I have that feature in the war room as well. I have for every Fed, there's the not just for Diamond. I have all the Feds there, and I actually post them in some Excel spreadsheet, so anybody could just download them if they want, and they can manipulate them any way they want and track them on their own after that, or they can just keep coming back and downloading the PDF. I mean the Excel after I update it. So I give them the option to do whatever they want with it.
Nice, nice. I mean, now from my understanding, the only other person running a website or a board outside of Facebook uh, is a Louisiana Purchase League.
Hmm.
I know Trevor Riley brought his aspect of the game to it, with his statistics there. So in terms of, like I said, not to get too far off topic, but in terms of other people running stuff outside of Facebook, it's the only ones I'm aware of. I definitely reached out to the XPL commissioner. Is it Venom
Dennis
Scott?
Scott.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Well,
definitely reached out.
I believe he's still the one commissioner. He's a great commissioner.
Right, and I definitely, like I said, I'm hoping to get him on, down the future as well. So, uh, yeah, so like I said, a lot of fun in the IWA right now. A lot of innovation. I
Oh
mean,
man.
shoot, let's actually get to some of that innovation and how you've recently changed the game up. I mean, take us through
Nice
it. I
segue.
suppose.
Nice segue.
Take us through it, Melvin. Take us through it.
Oh, well, obviously there's been a lot of buzz going on about what I did recently. And again, to everybody that's either going to do it or that mentioned anything about it, about how cool it was or about how innovative it was. Again, thank you. It was something that I was a little skeptical of doing at first because, like I touched on before the show, it's sometimes the IWA tends to push back on certain ideas, even though you feel or other managers might unanimously think that it's great, they'll go ahead and say, nope, we're not going to do it. So I was like, there's got to be something that I can do, something simple, but that can have a resounding impact if it's pushed through. And I sat there thinking, I was like, what can I do? And I was sitting there. I remember I made my own custom logo for the New Blood League. I have the skull that's there currently. And I was like, how can I expand on this? So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can request a customized bulletin. I was like, first, I didn't know if anybody ever did it before. So I had to get that past Kim. And I have a great relationship with Kimberly during my time as NBL commissioner. We were always in contact. She helped me out tremendously throughout my tenure there. But so I pitched it to her. I said, listen, Kim, I'm really good with Excel Word. I can generate my own template. If I customize the bulletin, but leave the section that you need to put the champions on, whatever IWA news you guys need or the holds on the back, can I do what I want to do with it? Because it's a new age now. Why not? So plus they're going on digital with the whole green movement. So I try to take advantage and I ran it by her. I sent her the template. It was already finished. I said, look, this is what it is. Just let me know if you can copy and paste your stuff and send me a mock-up. So I sent it to her. She was a little hesitant at first, of course, it was expected. And she pitched it to her guys. And sure enough, about half hour later, she sent me back the final draft. And I was just blown away, like, here we go. And
Nice.
I knew right away that it was gonna open the floodgate. I knew, trust me. I was like, here we go. It was just a matter of who's gonna follow suit and keep this going. Because my vision is to see like every league that has a commissioner have a customized front, because to me that makes your league stand out way more than it is now with the whole black and white outdated 30-year-old stuff that it is now. So
Now, I'll tell you this, Melvin, because I mean, as I'm talking to people, I'm asking around, like, has it been done before? And I don't think it's ever been done
no, Kim told me
in
it has
in
been
right,
done.
not in this level, nowhere near it. Because I heard from some commissioners are like they used to have custom fronts, but it was like a different color stock or something, or maybe it was tri-folded. It was a different bulletin altogether,
Yeah,
but it
that's
was
that's
it was never ever full colored or full customized the way this one
yeah.
is.
It wasn't brought somewhere over the rainbow like I took it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not, definitely not.
I brought it into
Now,
Technicolor.
now, I'll tell you this. I mean, as I'm looking at number two.
Yeah,
I mean, because I'm helping a couple commissioners out, helping them navigate their templates, and
thank you for that. That's awesome.
obviously I wanted something where I could easily change it up so that I'm
Yep.
not I'm not overwhelmed with with the the big old task of revamping them. But that's something that I just noticed. I mean, yours, I mean, and kudos, because like I said, you got access to that technology, and that's beautiful. I mean, you revamped it again, sucker. You revamped
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, no, my
Oh man,
idea
that's
behind
awesome.
that, my idea behind that is, if you notice, I swapped the first, the first bulletin, since it was a brand new cycle. I put the graphic of the main belt, which is the Nefarious World Title. That's why you see that image there of the guy with the claw holding his face. But then I took it a step further. I said, you know what? What better way to have one of the managers get shine than by having their league champion have the cover every cycle. So if you're the league champion, your character graphic is going to be on the front of my bulletin so that everybody can know who was the champion prior. And in this case, it just happened to be two-time league champion now, Dinko the
Hey,
Dentist. So he's going to get it again next cycle.
hey, that you know what? It's beautiful. I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, just in moving, moving forward. Like I said, I am working on a couple other ones. Like I said, nothing that's gonna be as custom as the WWL, and I'll say it like that because they are gonna be templates that we're gonna just, maybe from time to time have a special edition for them. But most of the templates are gonna be, they're already custom, and we're gonna change the number and the month, something relative, from the cycle to cycle. But
I think
yeah,
like you
no,
mentioned something also that I started doing it. I was already thinking of it as well. I actually did it in this cycle. I guess great minds think alike when it comes to that. And that's kind of introducing, upcoming events. I think you were mentioning, I forgot which one it was that you said you were gonna collision course, I think it was. You're gonna start advertising those on the front. I
right.
kind of did that with this cycle where I advertised the road to Wicked Wars, letting everybody know that, now is the start of the next few cycles leading up to the pay-per-view. So
Right, right.
that's another way to utilize that avenue. So
Oh yeah,
definitely
no,
kudos to you for going that route because that's a great idea.
yeah, no. I mean, and with I mean, the other one that I'm helping out is the ASL,
Okay,
and
well,
Peter's
I
another
saw it.
one,
I loved it. I gotta be honest. The whole Star Spangled Banner, that shit was awesome.
and thank you, brother, and Peter's another one. He's another
Yeah.
IWA genius. They just reports just come out and beautiful stuff. So again, just to and I wish Peter would come on the show. But like I said, he's a busy guy as well. So I understand. But hopefully one of these days we'll get him on here, get his voice heard. Throughout the IWA. But it's just it's awesome to have managers and commissioners that dedicate to one league because the product is that much better. I mean, your
Yeah,
stuff is beautiful.
don't
His,
water it down when you're in different leagues.
it, yeah, that's definitely it. Just having that focus. Seeing yourself, seeing Wes in the GNL, seeing Peter and Frank in the ASL. I mean, because they got that focus, it just makes that product. And again, getting getting these products out there, and to different managers that maybe are afraid. Well, I don't want to go there because whatever. But now that they're gonna get a chance to hear themselves, hear their characters, and in terms of characters, there you said you mentioned you have a little bit of a rivalry or
I
ongoing
sure
rivalry.
do. I sure do. That rivalry, I even put it on the cover. The current rivalry is with Skyblade Tiger King and my guy, Irritated Cannibal. This is a feud that's been stemming since ECL. We were both in Evil Clown League. And
Nice,
yeah, at the time, during my tenure in ECL, this is when I was running my Endgame stable and EMC. It was like a mix, and my stable was pretty much we ended up, I believe it was stable of the year for that year I was doing it. But in that time period, my character Cannibal and his character Skyblade, we were just going at it, and we ended up both being number one contenders for the Universal Championship there. I was actually in line to become the first two-time commissioner champion. I was the hardcore champion going for that title as well. Unfortunately, due to some personal, issues in my life, I had to pull back from there and the NBL around the same time. So the feud was never able to culminate, so to speak. But now I kind of coaxed them to coming into the WWL, and we're bringing that feud back. And now we're going to have a definitive conclusion to see who the
nice.
best really is.
Now it's beautiful that you say that, Melvin, because I'm of the kind that even though I forgive and forget, my fighters don't. My
But
fighters,
they don't.
they remember their feuds. My fighters remember their past. My fighters are, they know what's happened to them. That's just the way I carry my characters. So like that, it keeps them, relevant. In everything
Yeah.
that they do. So it's funny that you say how you're bringing, a former feud from a different, league. And it's still. I mean, in my eyes, it would still stay relevant. Because you work it that way around in your imaginary world, you know?
Exactly, yeah. There's other ones also. There's another one, a good one going on that's carrying over from the New Blood League, my previous league, and that's with Phantom Striker and Lord Evil Priest. Those two, oh man, they they're trading barbs in the last cycle on Lord Evil Priest, and we kind of been picking on him the last, the lead up into the debut cycle, which is writing up trash talks, and he was getting picked on, and we found him in alleyways, and it was kind of crazy, but he ended up one upping
Nice.
Striker and he signed the dark match, and that's one of the features of my league, which I'll touch on right after this. I'll piggyback on that. But he signed the dark match, and he ended up beating Striker out of nowhere. And Striker owned up to it in this report, but that feud is far from over. I'll tell you that.
Nice. Now you said you have dark matches. That's like a
Yes, that's
pay
one
per
of the
view or
no, not at all. I don't know if any other leagues are doing it or if any commissioners are doing it. But what I do is I have I guess like it's kind of like a highlight match basically. I know some leagues do it a certain way, but basically with me it's a category called dark matches. Excuse me. And if you have a match that you want to get highlighted, that's not necessarily in the center stage or have spotlight or pay per view or a big main event, you can just send it into Kim and write it as a dark match. I'll track it that cycle and I'll do up to 10 in every report, and I'll do a recap, exactly on what happened during that match to highlight. Again, that's another way of elevating maybe those stars that aren't as frequent on the title page as they like to be, but they'll still have eyes on them because there's a dedicated stage, section for those matches, and I'm sure a lot of managers are going to want to tune in to see, okay, who signed the dark match, what was going on behind the scenes when all the lights went out.
in terms of I mean, and I'm sure this is something that probably happens on the boards in terms of determining whether a character's face, heel, whether does
Oh,
that
right now,
even?
put it this way. Wicked Wars, man, I tell you, it's a monster because it's like a league full of anti-heroes.
Yeah.
There is
Okay.
no
Okay.
there's no it's a big blur because there really is. I mean, you could say you're a face, but one cycle you're a face, next cycle you're turning on somebody. There's no what I like to say, there's no alliances. If it is, it's short-lived, very, very short-lived. So you might end up turning on somebody that you've been cool with for like a couple cycles, and that's just the way it is. That's what I want in the league. I don't want people to feel comfortable and complacent with another manager there because that manager might turn on you, and that's what's
Gotcha.
going to make the league fun.
Like I said, it's one of those leagues where you keep your enemies close and your friends closer,
Both
or,
ways,
or
yeah. And
sure,
both ways and vice versa because you
and
just
vice
never know.
versa.
You never know.
Ah, nice, nice. Now, in terms of in terms of the commissioner titles, there, Melvin, you want to talk on to how they're defended? Are they are they
Well,
can?
that's another thing about my league that some other managers really love is that and I know in other leagues some commissioners rather they choose to use like point stipulations or handicaps, and to be honest, I was never a fan of that. My whole thing is if you want to beat the champion, you got to beat them fair and square. I don't care how good that person is because you might end up having a good cycle and they suck that cycle. So my thing is I'm running my all my commissioner titles are run gauntlet style. So if you have it, you're gonna keep it until you lose it. There's no rematches. If you want that belt back, you got to earn it all over again. So it's one of my ways to keep all the managers on their toes to make sure that they're picking the best strats that they can. Because at any given moment, you could lose that belt and you never see it again.
Nice. Now you say now in terms of like if I was the champion there and I lost it,
Uh-huh.
what's my strategy to get back to get a title shot again? Do I have to?
You got to climb the ladder all over again. I'm basically going to be having a separate, and this is going to be a behind the scenes, one of those things. Again, you will know this as a commissioner. Sometimes you got to do things outside of the scope of the manager's eyes.
Right.
So for me, I'm going to be running something where I can keep track of those that get knocked off the top. And I'm going to progressively watch what they're doing to see how they're going to climb back in this, the points race. Because obviously, if you got a shot at the title, it's because you were up there in a performance tracker. Your guy is moving up the ladder. But if you lose the title, you're obviously going to still have the same points or even more so the next cycle. But since you're getting knocked back down the totem pole, I'm going to be keeping track of a certain amount of points to get you back into contention.
Gotcha. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, and for those of you guys, tuning in, or maybe Melvin does a fantastic job of tracking,
Thank you.
Tracking wrestlers' progress, whether it's in the ring, on the title
Yes.
page, in the locker room talk, whatever it is. So in terms of what he means, in terms of watching a wrestler continue to progress towards that belt, I mean, I can visually see it. I can understand what you mean in terms of watching their individual progress back up
Yes.
for a title shot. So that's cool.
Use it for the whole, again, the performance track extreme, which is what I touched on in the beginning, where, a lot of commissioners have these point trackers, and a lot of times they tend to forget to add other things or other, nuances that can help managers out. Like, for instance, I told you I have royal toss outs. You might see people win battle royals, but are you keeping track of how many people they throwing out the ring? What about that person? Just because you didn't win the battle royal, what if you threw out four people and you didn't win?
Right.
I still find that person to be just as impressive to me as the person who won the battle royal. For a perfect example, I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second. Who I'm looking at my sheet right now. Blah, 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 blah. But I believe it was Minister of Hate who won the big. Obviously, it's not going to happen again, but he won the debut cycles battle royal, and it was like the whole roster. Obviously, it's a debut cycle, so they tend to put the entire roster in there. And he threw out four people, but Mistress Morgana threw out six. What about her? You know what I mean? So it's my
Right.
thing, and she's a female. So again, I'm putting the spotlight on other aspects of the game that might have been overlooked, and I'm including that in the points race. So I have that. I have total wins. I have average win percentages. I have dark match wins. Turnbuckle Thursday wins. I have fastest wins, war room trash talk, regular trash talk, best trash talk. It's all in there. It's a mix of everything. And again, it gives managers that aren't normally on the title page or are not that good, especially the newer ones. And again, half my league is a lot of new managers, which is great. But it gives them a way to climb the ladder without having to rely on winning titles.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and let's say it like it is, Melvin. I mean, the more you give them, you would hope that they would just, grow and grow into their roles a little easier. I mean, that just,
Uh,
it just allows, like you said, it allows a manager that maybe doesn't have that much going on, on the title page, but maybe he just climbed 3 spots in the performance tracker.
Exactly. Yes, that's just as important than the person that's spotted that's rocking the league champion. It's to me, it's all relevant. At the end of the day, these managers that are in these niche leagues and in any league in general, whether you have control over your league or not, like they're spending money. They're investing in your brand. So why not give back to them and be able to highlight their entire roster, not just their main guys, because every roster has a main guy. That's fine, and you want to
Right.
promote that. But
Now
you
I
have
know I know this is the WWL show, so I won't go too far into it, but
your
that's exactly why I'm doing the new Fusion era stuff.
Yeah, I want to know what that's all about.
Now here's a whole completely different side of the game here, Melvin. I mean, because like you
An ex-
said,
is this an
every
exclusive fans?
this is an exclusive for fans, brother, because like you just mentioned, everybody's playing to pay, to play the game.
Yes.
So now I had the MML. I had a friend of mine, Eric Bug, ran the QPL. Another former, not former, another commissioner had the XWO. Commissioner Kyle had it for a while, and a lot of commissioners come and go. And
Agreed.
managers are in the game regardless. They're whether they're playing a whole different game. They're playing the at-large game. They're playing the hit.
Exactly.
So my idea behind the new Fusion era was, let me come up with a report, a nice simple report that's gonna warrant, and be okay with Kim.
Hmm.
That's gonna allow me to collect the free matches to in turn give them back to the managers.
Oh, nice.
So I'm doing a very simple report. I've taken over 6 leagues. All 6 leagues get the same report. And then what I've done is I've created a system of stars. So you know how we get stars throughout the IWA.
Correct.
So I created 3 different divisions amongst the 6 leagues. So it's pretty much, if you're 40 and above stars, you're in the main event.
Okay.
Anybody with less than 20 stars is an undercard. And
Ah,
and of course anybody from 20 to 39 stars is a mid card. And basically what I'm going to do is something as simple as this, Melvin, is I'm going to have a tournament. This cycle I'm doing the main eventers. So I'm going to take 8 of the best main eventers, stick them in a tournament. Whoever the winner is gets the bank from whatever league he's in.
Oh, it's awesome. Now, what determines which 8 you pick? Is it random or?
It's the top 8. In this case, the main eventers. It was the top 8 star holders. So the top 8.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're
And,
going.
and like I said, and what I've done is I split the 6 leagues into 2 different divisions. So I have the American and the National. So 3 leagues in each different division. Have 3 different, so like I have 2 different brackets. Bring the 2 brackets together. Winner, whoever wins.
Nice.
And it's just a way to give back the matches, brother. I'm not gonna, like I said, kudos to commissioners like yourself that do the tracking, that make leagues that much more intriguing for managers like myself, because the way you run a league is a league that I would like to play in. That's just
Awesome.
that's just the way, let's say it as it is. Now, in that same, voice, like I said, I do know a lot of managers in the game, and I hate to see them spend money in a league that isn't going to give them something back.
Exactly, yeah.
So that and so the new fusion is just a way to give the at-large, players something back, because they're supporting this game, and I want to make sure that they get a little support from myself.
That's awesome. I'm all for that. Count the WWL in there.
Definitely, man. Now,
That's if you'll have us. That's if you'll have us, of course.
oh yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I definitely want to branch out to as many different managers in terms of the interfet stuff. Like we have a lot of stuff that I haven't discussed with you, but like I said, I will be bringing up with you now that I have this connection, because right now we have the Guerra de Campeones that's going on in the interfed. That's one that I'm sure the WWL is going to jump in on next time we have the next round, because I said this round alone we got 6 different teams. We got 36 individual managers throughout the game that are, ready to rock and roll. So, like I said, and to have new leagues like the WWL that are going to fit that style, I definitely want to get you guys on the next edition of the Guerra de Campeones as well.
Oh, we'll be there. That's all you need to know. We'll be there.
Definitely. Now, Melvin, is there anything else you want to touch on in terms of you wanted to go over the trash talk a little bit, or anything else in terms of the WWL?
I guess what can there's so much. That's the problem. But the main thing is with the trash talk. I do want to point out in my report. And you do have the report in front. I don't know if you have it in front of you right now, but I do have it in a way where every manager that comes in, I do request them to send me a pic or some kind of representation of their character. And this way, when I do put it in the reports, you see, I streamlined the trash talk basically.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean,
Yeah, I take the pictures and I put their best excerpts from not the entire thing that they wrote, but what I figure is the most hard hitting and what was the most important part of what they wrote. And I'll put it in there, highlight it, and I'll put them one after another, and you can kind of see who's who and get familiar with their characters, familiar with their images. And I think that just makes it a lot easier to follow, in my opinion.
oh yeah.
And
Now,
I also
sorry to cut you off, but now I don't know if we mentioned it on the show, but trash talk is a requirement there in the WWL.
yes, it is. It's mandatory as part of the league requirement to be in. I am lenient with it. If you miss a cycle here or there, that's fine. But I do expect you at least every other cycle to submit something of substance, because there's really no excuse for going, back to back, without writing anything. Again, you could write a promo, you could write something, anything that's relevant to your character. It doesn't have to be a sneak attack, doesn't have to be, an angle or feud starter. Just something. It could be a background story about your wrestler, something to get us engaged in who your wrestler is.
Now,
So
is
I
it
do
now,
expect that.
is it something per fighter or just something per manager?
Per manager. Doesn't have to be
Okay.
per fighter. Per fighter,
Okay.
that's not fair. Nobody's gonna write that much.
I
So
was
you
gonna
gotta
say,
pick.
well,
Come on, you gotta pick one person that you want to stand out. At least, mix it up. Maybe every other cycle you put somebody else in your stable in the spotlight. Just don't try to rely on the same person all the time. If you do, that's fine. But I kind of like the what's the word? I just like the mix of all the different people under the roster, just to mix it up and have everybody know, who these people are that you're managing.
right, definitely. Oh yeah, no, and a lot of beautiful trash talk in this
Oh yeah.
report, man. Like you said, there's just so much. I mean, now in moving forward with these shows, Melvin, like I said, I definitely want to continue highlighting the WWL. We did mention we are going to track the titles there as well. So, I definitely want to continue to bring you on if you'll come on. It's
Definitely.
Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, is there anything on this last one? Any last words you want to bring on this one, Melvin, before we sign off?
Just the main thing is I want to thank all the managers in my league for believing in this vision, for giving me the amazing feedback that they've been giving me. I am genuinely humbled. From a commissioner, like you can relate to this more, I guess, because you know how much goes into these things. It's a lot of our time. It's a lot of my personal time invested in this. I do it because I'm passionate about it. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this for the managers in my league. You know, they gave me a shot. Again, they're investing in my idea, into my vision. And I'm just trying to give them the best product possible with the time I have available. I mean, if I had more time, I'll probably be able to do even better report. But I feel like, for the time that I do have, because I do have 3 kids, I do work full time. So it's not easy to squeeze in the time to do this. I am a grown man with grown man problems. But at the end of the day, I'm really trying to do this for everybody. So thank you, from the bottom of my heart to all the managers in my league now, all the ones that are going to come in the future. If you're interested in a niche league that's a little bit different than the rest, then definitely come on down to the WWL. Shoot me on the email newbloodmayhem@gmail.com.
You broke up on that last one, Melvin. You said newbloodmayhem@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. That is correct. You have to hit me up because again, transfers are closed now. You can't get in if you want to transfer. You have to contact me. But another cool thing is that if you do, I didn't mention this, but if you do join the league, the debut cycle you join, you are allowed to, well, we'll waive all your wrestler creation fees, any other fees that might apply to creating wrestlers. And if you take the match deal, you do get 2 free Battle Royal entries as well, along with the match deal, and all those fees waived. So you don't have to pay to create the new wrestlers if you do that.
Now you said transfers are closed, so no more transfers.
No, you cannot. I did it for the first 2 cycles. It was just going to be the debut cycle, but I extended it one more because I know a couple other people were trying to get in. So I gave them that grace period, but now it is closed. It's invite only. But again, that doesn't mean that you can't get in. You just got to contact me if I feel that you're a good fit for the league and you're not going to BS me. I'm not going to BS you, and then let's do it. Let's rock.
Nice. I like it. Let's go ahead and end it on that note. Like I said, guys,
Yes, sir.
it's a great looking league. It looks like the structure is fitting to anybody looking to do a nice angle, a nice character you want to definitely get creative with. Definitely a league to check out there in the Diamond. And like I said, I know this isn't the last time we're going to hear of this. So like I said, I look forward to moving forward.
Thank you so much for having me, Flip. I'm looking forward to the next one too.
For sure. Now, you've been listening to the innovative commissioner of the WWL, Melvin Mayhem, and myself, IWA FLip. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, Melvin.
Take care, man.